Okay. Check. Let's back to it. Let's get straight to business. You nailed paper one, but you need to sit this next one to get done. Mind your language, and when the summer comes, all kinds of madness. But now the first things to see is the change to the extracts to this time. Nothing major to know, except this is fact, not fiction. One's Victorian and one's more recent. You have to skim through them and find connections. Then anything that's different, let's check the questions. First up's a straight choice of true or false. Read one source and then choose the faults in the statement. Make sure you read them clearly, because they might trick you, but students really shouldn't need more than 5 minutes to nail this. Choose 4 from 8 and shade the spaces. Easy as that, no need to worry. Question 2, synthesise a summary of anything that contrasts key distinctions between the two sources. Say for instance that one is quite formal and lacking humour, a little bit serious and clashing to the sense that you get when you read the next one. What are they about now? Let's get on to the write-up. Infer instead of analysing. Use supporting quotes to make your answer tighter. Link it all together in a paragraph with your points all layered like a tasty sandwich. Now source A explains, embed quote here, which illustrates to us, explain and make it clear. But in source B we see repeat the process to cover 5 differences that nicely flow. Next up's question 3, it's all about devices, phrases and words you should analyse. This is just like question 2 on paper 1. Picking out words and explaining them in relation to the focus that they indicate. Like how do they use language to describe this place? Now think about the words with the biggest impact. Discuss their meaning, precise and exact. For example, you could maybe write something like, the author conveys that his work in life was incredibly harsh when he clearly describes how the floors were rotten and there was meagre light. Now notably the use of meagre is effective, as it portrays to the reader it was weak, and we get the sense the workplace is dire straits and rotten floors in the dark seem unsafe. And we assume they felt a lack of job satisfaction from the negativity they see in this extract. Question 4 is a combination of things you have covered so far in this paper. Look for differences and similarities in the ideas, attitudes and how they are achieved. Think about the points you have already covered. There's nothing to stop reusing quotes from the other questions on the paper. Like 2 and 3, use the same ideas just slightly differently. Now what you need to do is look at both sources, compare how they're different, and then of course you need to find evidence from the text to support your opinions. This is more complex than what you've just written, but it's really similar. Mix up ideas and discuss them all in a nice fluid manner. Use your best connectives, compare perspectives, try to be perceptive. Basically this means look beyond the surface. What are they inferring? What could be their purpose? To get a better level you should make a checklist inside of your head that you can cross-reference. They want comparison of attitudes along with examples of devices used, all supported with quotes from across the text and a clear understanding of what you've read. See, for me this is like combining cues 2 and 3, so it's useful to plan ahead and choose carefully in the questions you cover in the early stages. Pick out ideas you can save for later, combine 2 responses that you've done before. As you set out all your points, that way you'll be sure that you cover all the bases in this key response. It's worth 60 marks and you can comment on the style and the form in which they are written, the tone that you get and the language in them, a blend of formality, humour, facts, references, idioms, phrases, stats. For example, you could write, we get the sense that the author is a parent who represents all the people who believe education's tough and his dry sense of humour is relaxed and warm. He talks about his child sarcastically and is self-deprecating, as we can see when he talks about his grades with the simile, like a line of Pac-Men and in his C's or E's. And his attitude distinct from the second author, who speaks very formally as he reports to his friend and attempts to support his son, who alleges he's endured such ill treatment. I would aim to write about 4 or 5 key points you can find, and more if there's time. Then you need to get ready for the writing section. Please read the brief and don't forget to check back and look at either source if it gives you tips. Take inspiration, don't just sit and copy it. When it comes to this part, then you need to choose persuasive devices that are likely to have an impact on people and engage the reader. Think about grippers 3PS for features you can implement to have the best effect. Persuasion works best if you can maybe prick the skin abrasions. So utilize guilt and emotive language and rhetorical questions to get an advantage. Plan your response so it hits the mark. Use personal pronouns to create a spark. Never underestimate the simple power of you, we, us and the collective hour. And the last thing to say is that the marks are split 24-16, so don't be accurate, cause you don't want to drop marks for silly mistakes. It's the last straight yes, but we're still in the game. When you got it all done, you should check it back. Then just like this track, yo, that's English wrapped up. Yeah, just like this track, that's English wrapped up. Good luck.